Hola, Gamer Nation! For this episode of Rent or Buy, we'll be taking a look at Square Enix's Final Fantasy XIII. I'm Adam Mater. Let's get this show on the roll. New intro there. Hope you're liking it. The music is from Prodigy, Invaders Must Die, and you may have seen it on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Totally awesome looking movie. Go check that trailer out as soon as you're done watching this video. But back to the topic of Square Enix's Final Fantasy XIII. This game is colossal. It's 3 discs on the Xbox 360, and it's long. But can it be beaten in 5 days? We'll find out. But before we get to the quantity, I kind of want to talk about the quality of the game. It can best be described as a snobby hot chick, because this game looks so good, but it really doesn't want you to be participating in it. There's like 70% the game and then 30% interaction with you. I say this because tons of cutscenes in the game. A lot of the battle system is actually automated. So they've shifted over the battle system where you're no longer controlling all the party members. You're just controlling one of them. And if you're new to the whole Final Fantasy thing, it's sort of a strategy-based turn game, but in this game, it's real-time, so you gotta kind of keep on your toes and keep moving around in the combat system. They kept it interesting by having you have to shift your party's classes around, doing a paradigm shift, sort of fancy way of saying that you just change the roles of the 3 people on the screen. And again, it's really automated. You're not controlling them specifically except for one character, and even half the time I'm still just hitting the automated button anyways. There are some nice things about the game though. Things like having a little bit of a story recap as soon as you're loading into the game was really helpful for me. I have really short attention span and I was kind of forgetting what was going on into the plot. And this little load screen, instead of having some fancy picture, it just gave me a little text summary scrolling along that explained what had happened in the last hour or so I could remember better. And on the note of the plot, I'm liking a little bit better than some of the previous Final Fantasies. The characters are not your general characters. I mean, they're still kind of the preset molds that we've been seeing in games over the last few years, but they're sort of new, and I like the relationships in between them, as opposed to Final Fantasy's niche of just a love romance thing going on with the main character. We're starting to see relationships that are sort of parental or sibling related, as opposed to just love relationships.
We will see her, right?
We'll see her again. And soon. You convinced me of that. So stay strong.
Don't worry. We'll finish this and go see her together.
So they did good, making this game look great. Good plot, good characters, but it gets really repetitive. Final Fantasy games are supposed to kind of mix up a little bit of roaming around dungeons and solving puzzles with going into little separate battle instances. Whereas this game seemed to forget about the puzzle part. This game consists of walking 10 seconds in between battles in between a really pretty linear corridor. I mean, like I said, it's a really good looking corridor, but you're just walking 10 seconds and it gets super repetitive at points. Attempts to break up this repetition were failed pretty horribly. It tried to be a stealth game for like maybe 5 minutes, and that was just downright obnoxious. The controls are not good enough for that. You didn't make the game to be this. Why are you trying to do that? But let's bring it on over to the timeline and see if I was able to beat this colossal of a game in 5 days. Before we kick this thing off, let's explain some of the colors. White is I'm asleep, red is I'm playing the game, and black is I'm at work. So you'll notice, without any school during the summer, I sleep in a lot. But on this first day, I played for 2 1.5-hour sessions, and I couldn't really play longer than that. I had to break them up. Then off to work, sleep for 6 hours, back to work, and then 6 hours of this game in 1 day. That should say something as to how good this game is when you first pick it up. The next day, however, in between work and sleep, I played for a good 3 hours and 40 minutes in between 2 play sessions, so the game's still fun. Hop off to work, sleep, work, back into the game, and you'll notice a dip in my playtime. This is where it starts to get really repetitive and old. I couldn't play for longer than like maybe an hour. Next day, I decide to sleep in, because I'm lazy, and then the game amazes me. I'm interested again. It's starting to change things up. Unfortunately, right as I need to return it. So 5 days, 23 hours of playtime later, and I'm nowhere near the end. I just barely reached the 3rd disc for those Xbox users. PlayStation users, you only have 1 disc. Lucky you. So there you have it. Wasn't able to beat it in 5 days. And I gotta say, I wasn't horribly sad seeing this game go back to the store. I'm just a little upset that I'm not able to finish the plot. I'm not gonna miss the gameplay elements that much. Nevertheless, I'm still going to throw this game into the buy category because it is such a colossal time dump that you will get every penny's worth out of it if you have to read the little stupid text logs in the menu. You can entertain yourself for hours on end with this game, so you should feel comfortable spending the 60-some bucks that it is. But hey, if you want to see any of your favorite games here on Rent or Buy, then please, just go ahead and post that game down here in the underbar, and any other suggestions for the show, I'm totally open. Let's see them. You'll also notice this next screen was made by Adam Becker, one of our viewers, so if you want to submit some of your viewer-made content, then by all means, it might end up on the show. Ding, 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 bloop! Just like that. Maybe throw that on the end. I don't know.